Welcome back to Sports Federation TV, the show where we talk about a whole range of different codes of sport, brought to you by the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation. I'm Alton Davids, I'm your host. We're chatting to a young man who we sat in the same space about a year ago,
Yes,
John
we
Mark.
have. Yes, we have.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yourself, Alton.
Do you think that, or did you ever think that this would be a professional activity, like a whole lifestyle for you?
In the beginning, it was something that I wanted it to be. I looked at, a lot of other athletes, and as a skateboarder, I always felt I was, an athlete. I was an extreme sports athlete, and when I got into the competitive side of skateboarding and I started competing internationally as well, that's when it started to, my dream and it started to manifest itself. And my vision of being a professional athlete started to come together, and I never in my lifetime thought it would be what it is today, but I kept obviously pushing and chasing that dream of being a professional athlete.
But you don't fit the typical skateboarder mold. the guys who are hip and happening, and the pants that hang way down, and the real loafer mentality is the general perception of skateboarding. Yet you come out, you got 2 world Guinness records, you go to sports science, you train hard, and this is a professional activity, a lifestyle, and an income for you, and a operation.
If you're willing to go obviously the extra mile and put in the after hours work, you'll definitely see the benefits of it on the other side. And I mean, for me as a skateboarder, I knew, and I think skateboarders will vouch with me on how physically demanding the sport is. That's something that's undeniable. You get sprains and bruises every single day, but at the end of the day, it's you have to look after yourself. For any other sport, that's what you have to do.
Skateboarding is reasonably big in Cape Town.
Yes.
I mean, you've got in town, you've got under the bridge there. There's one. What's that called?
That's the Garden Skate Park.
Yeah, under the bridge there. By KFC, there's one.
Yes.
Where else are there other skate parks that we can go and play at, as an example?
There is a new skate park, and it's, in my opinion, a world-class skate park. Specifically from the people that built it.
Yep.
In the waterfront battery park. This is, one of my favorite skate parks that has ever been built in Cape Town, definitely. And in my opinion, it's a very the level of the skate park is for everybody. There's nothing too big, nothing too small. For guys that are competing internationally, you can go there and you can have fun. The obstacles aren't intimidating. For guys that are just learning, I strongly advise go to Battery Park and start from the ground up, definitely.
And I mean, Battery Park is a nice learning ground, but it's also, like you say, competitive element.
Yes. Definitely.
This skateboard that you have, you would obviously use at Battery Park. Tell me a bit about the skateboard. I mean, you have a thing called trunks.
Yes.
What's it called?
Trucks.
Trucks.
That's correct. That's what we grind with.
Yep.
Over there, and then obviously you've got your wheels, your bearings inside, and obviously the board to go with it. But for me, I haven't changed. Actually, funny enough, I haven't changed anything.
Stop right there. Let me first ask this question before you explain it. Those wheels, is that the wheels that has your name on it? Because I know there's a set of wheels in the world that is in production with your name on it. How cool is that?
That is, yes. Those are the wheels right there. It obviously has the Connection wheels, South Africa flag, and the US flag. That's where Connection was originated from.
Yep.
And they spotted me in an international contest, not knowing that I was from South Africa. And they said, we'd like to have you on the team, and that was 4 years ago. And this wheel was my dream.
Sure.
And obviously, after proving myself on the team, they obviously, gave the go ahead for me to have an ambassador wheel, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity, and obviously to be, skating international contests as a South African and having these wheels, representing while I'm out there. And we're going to do the same thing next week, and I'm very happy about that.
How does it feel to have a wheel named after you that people skate on and talk about the John Mark wheel?
It's surreal. It's something that I looked up to other skateboarders doing. I was, the kid at the skate shop, going for the wheels that I watched these guys in videos, and I want that wheel because I saw him skate. And to have it come full circle again, for me to be the skateboarder, where guys will come to me and say, we want to skate that wheel.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very humbling, to actually have that moment in your
Yep.
life, definitely.
Where in Cape Town can I buy these wheels? I mean, I'm going to start skating.
They're available at, there's the Shred Skate Park Pardon Island. There's to my opinion, to my knowledge, there is the Battery Park as well. And Connection is, they're expanding. They have all the guys on the pro team, their wheels all across South Africa. So it's nice to give my international team, see them have the opportunity in Africa as well. And obviously, guys are supporting what they are doing overseas as well. So it's good that we one big family at the end of the day.
Okay, so show me what's a Noelle Heelflip.
Perfect. So to everybody watching, a Noelle Heelflip is, I wouldn't say it's the easiest trick, but it's definitely one of the tricks you learn when it's a few months.
Yep.
And a Noelle Heelflip is basically, the stance is nollie, so that's where the nose of the board is.
Okay.
And that's where you stand for the flip trick. Noelle Heelflip is where the board pops up and it flips one rotation like that.
Okay.
And you
land it.
And back on.
And you've done 18 of that in how long?
Under a minute.
In under a minute.
46 seconds.
Shoo.
Yes.
How much practice do you need to do? Do you do this like every day, all day?
I practice every single day, and it's usually specific. Depending if I'm practicing specifically for a record or a contest. But on a daily, there would be about 4 to 5 hours practice, and on the off days, I would alternate. So it would be Monday I'll practice, and then on the Tuesday I will be at the Sports Science Center and focusing on that side of skateboarding. Definitely.
Okay, so now you've traveled locally. Tell us a bit about some of your international experiences.
Perfect. So my international experiences, it's been memorable, definitely, and I think the most important one for me was the end of 2016 when I was invited to China as a wildcard competitor in the FICE World Series for South Africa. I was the only South African competing at the time. And as a wildcard, what this means is that you're not pre-qualified. You have to go through qualification day first with China's best before you get into the contest. So you would start from ground zero. Then you would get into the semifinals and finals. So on the day I qualified and got into semifinals and finals and won South Africa's first gold for skateboarding internationally.
Sure. Well done.
Thank you. And I podiumed the second year again, and Indonesia Pro Jam last year was my first time in a professional contest for skateboarding, not as a wild card this time, as a registered competitor. And I podiumed again in Indonesia, and this year I'll be traveling quite a bit, starting with Paris, and that'll be World Cup skateboarding for next week. And my goals are set, to represent South Africa for skateboarding in the Olympics 2020, definitely.
Definitely, it's on the cards. I mean, this must cost you a fortune. Besides the traveling, how do you fund all of this?
So it's very difficult when you're starting to compete, when you're trying to qualify into the bigger contests. That's I would say, the expensive part for any traveling athlete. And once you qualify into the contests, a lot of the not just your travel, but also your expenses, your daily expenses, accommodation, all those things start adding up. Those are catered for because you're part of the series, you're part of the tour.
Okay.
But like I said, the hard part is getting there.
And in terms of locally, do you have support from companies? I mean, I know you at Sports Science.
Yes.
You obviously get quite a bit of scientific support from them.
Definitely, they've helped me see another side to being an athlete. Definitely, I thought all I would need to do is skate every day. But when it gets to a such a competitive level, and 95% of your performance is skateboarding, definitely. The other 95% is what you put in after that. From support, obviously my sponsors and all the brands that I work with, they behind me all the way on the road to 2020, definitely. And they obviously want to see, me succeed as a skateboarder, but also me succeed as a athlete coming from the Cape Flats.
Yep.
That's what they want to see, that because that promotes, that's not just a skateboarder doing that. And for me, I see it as implementing change. It implements a different mindset to aspiring athletes coming out of there, and definitely skateboarders. You know, I started there and believed skateboarding would stay there. That's where it would be.
But you've also become a role model in your community. Not only in your community, but at your school.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about that experience.
So my previous high school, Windsor High School in Rondebosch, Cape Town, I always had an excuse, and a lot of the teachers would say I always had an excuse. I never really got into any of the sports. I never made any of the teams. I definitely tried, but every day I would have my board with me. And at the end of the school, the school day, I would go to the back of the tennis courts where, everybody else's sports would be finished. I'd go to the back, and that's where I would practice. The sports teacher knew I was doing that after school, and he's a lover of sports. He said, just go for it.
Yep.
And a few years down the line, they realized that, starting to compete internationally, and they obviously got in touch through social media, and they asked, we're so amazed, that you're still skateboarding, that you took it to this level. And I then took my first world record for South Africa and donated it to Windsor High School, just as a symbol of motivation to athletes that are, not necessarily thinking of making a team in the school, but they're thinking, outside the box, like skateboarding, for example. So I donated to Windsor High School, and on further conversation, they have decided to rename the sports grounds where I used to skate in commendation to me, and that was, it was for me more than a dream come true. It was something I never thought possible. Yeah. Because it wasn't even a sport. They never looked at it as that way. I had to kind of, believe it and act and make others believe the same. So when I did that, and that's why I donated the world record, because that is my, donation to everybody else to believe that impossible is nothing.
You got a set of wheels named after you. You got a field named after you.
Yes.
You're going to be going to the Olympics. You're going to be going to the Olympics.
Yes, that's the
You're
goal.
not considering?
No, not considering. That's where my vision is, definitely.
What needs to happen between now and qualification? How many qualifiers do you need to do to qualify?
There are, in terms of qualification, in terms of contests, there are minimum 3 for the year. Just off the top of my head, there are minimum 3 that everyone would need to compete in, but there are 8 contests in total. So in terms of what your budget allows, obviously if you can compete in the 3 or 2 out of 3, or just 1 out of the 3, it'd be good to qualify. But if you can go to all 8 or closest to all 8, that obviously solidifies good points and a good standing. And for myself, I'm going to be adding on to obviously the gold, silver and bronze podiums from last year, and adding on to those and going back to those contests as well. So everything is obviously accounted for. I mean, a lot of the guys, the judges, everybody said, although you have a podium in these events, you have to return. You have to compete and add on to those points, definitely. And that's my goal. And just this year I'm focusing actually a lot on longevity and getting points in each section rather than going all out in one single contest. So just spacing out my physical abilities is where my focus is right now. Definitely.
How do people follow you? Give us your socials.
So on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, my social handles are all the same. So everything is at John Mark Skate, and feel free to engage with the videos and ask questions. I'm always open to giving pointers about skateboarding. So I look forward to hearing from everyone.
And you're very active on the socials. I know that for a fact.
Yes, I am. I love sharing videos, and I love learning new tricks on a daily basis, and sharing my experience, sharing my journey, so to say. And that's something I'll be doing starting next week. My journey, my road to 2020. I want everyone to be a part of it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
World Guinness record holder.
Yes.
Wheel named after you.
Yes.
School ground named after you.
Yes.
Future Olympian. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Alton.
When we come back, we'll be chatting table tennis history. See you now.